guys, it's Sam, and I know I just did a book tag on Wednesday, but something very important happened this week, and that is that the wonderful and beautiful Emily Jean came out with a book tag that I needed to do. I was spoken to spiritually through this tag, and I felt the need to do it as soon as possible, and that is the Tom Hanks book tag. So, as none of you know, because I haven't shared this piece of information with you on my channel, I love Tom Hanks. Like, in an obsessive way, sort of. I didn't know his middle name until Emily shared it with us on her video, but I love him. Like, he's one of those actors that I think about him possibly passing away in the future as a very, very old man, like at least 150, and I get teary-eyed. I'm not even exaggerating. Like, that is a serious thing. Like, if Tom Hanks were to pass away tomorrow, God forbid, I would probably take a week off work to grieve. I'm not exaggerating whatsoever. So, as I said, this tag was created by Emily of Emily Jean, and she tagged me in it, so thank you so much, Emily, because we share a love of Tom Hanks that might be a little bit too much for most people, but is just enough for us. All of these questions correspond to some of Tom Hanks' wonderful cinematic masterpieces that he's had over the course of his career. Question number 1 is Big, a book you read when you were young that was intended for a more mature audience. I don't remember reading anything particularly scandalous when I was younger, but I did pick up Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte at a young enough age that I remember not really being able to digest it properly. For those of you that are old enough, you may remember that MTV came out with a Wuthering Heights contemporary movie, kind of, back when MTV was doing their, like, original movies, and it was probably really bad, like, really cheesy. I've not been able to track it down since, but I loved it and wanted to read the book. And I was probably in, like, 6th grade, maybe a little older than that, but Wuthering Heights is kind of a dense book for somebody that wasn't used to classics. I always read, but I didn't read a ton of classics until, like, high school, so this was not easy to digest. Also, the themes in here of the relationship is not exactly kid material. Their relationship between Kathy and Heathcliff is not healthy. I love it now as an adult because it's dark and angsty and twisted, but it's not exactly like kid material, so I think this is the closest one to like a scandalous kind of read. Question number 2 is Forrest Gump.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
What book did you pick up not knowing anything about? And that was actually Soulless by Gail Carriger. This is getting really big on Booktube right now. I know Lindsay from Lindsay Ray, I think, has recently read these, and I know that Sana from Inkbones Books is a big fan of these books, but I picked these up probably, oh man, over 5 years ago. They were located really close to my beloved Anita Blake series by Laurel K. Hamilton, and I saw them one day on the shelf. I love steampunk, and I actually ended up picking them up. I've read the first 3, but I haven't finished the series. I don't know why. I think forgot about it for a while, and I've been meaning to pick them up for the last like 2 years or so, and I just haven't, but I picked this up completely not knowing what it was about. I just knew that it was a steampunk, and I read the back and it was paranormal fantasy, so I was all about that, and I loved them. Question number 3 is Sleepless in Seattle. This is one of my mom's favorite movies of all time, by the way. The last book that kept you up late, Sleepless reading. No question here. That is The Winter's Crime by Marie Rutowski. This is the second book in the Winter's Curse trilogy, and for those of you that follow me on Twitter, I was up very late reading this, and it brought me physical pain. A review and a gush is coming soon, probably this Monday after you're watching this, so be ready for that. I'm getting ready to film that now that my emotions have kind of not calmed down, but that I can actually speak words about this book. So this one is definitely one that kept me up late reading it, and then kept me up even later after thinking about it. Yes. Question number 4 is Toy Story.
Once you get it, you see the hat? I am Mrs. Nesbit. Snap out of it, Buzz!
A timeless book you plan to share with any offspring you might create. Yes, that is how the question is worded. I do not have an answer for this one, actually. I know a lot of people are going to say Harry Potter and probably Lemony Snicket and Percy Jackson, but there is not a particular series that I feel that I would recommend to kids if I chose to have them myself. I feel like books are a very personal thing, and that a certain book might be good for a certain kid and not good for another kid, and based on my child, and if my child enjoyed reading, I would have to tailor it kind of to that kid. So I know this is supposed to be kind of like a fun question, I took it way too seriously, but I don't have an answer for that, because it kind of depends, and maybe my kid, if I were to have a kid, wouldn't even like reading, and that'd be fine. So Yeah. Question number 5, You've Got Mail, classic, so good, the quintessential Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan, awesome 90s rom-com. It's so beautiful. Name a book that you heard about on the internet and where you heard it from. So I'm one of those people that in my daily life, I don't buy anything household related, makeup related, clothing usually related, or anything unless I've seen reviews on it, basically. I'm one of those people. So with books, I am the exact same way. The majority of my bookshelf, overwhelmingly the majority, like 98% of it, was books that I have gotten from recommendations, mostly through Booktube, and if not Booktube, at least Goodreads recommendations. So I'm going to shout out a few people and a few series that I read because they were recommended to me via Booktube. I'm sure a lot of these will be similar for some of you guys as well. The first series, Shatter Me by Tahara Mafi, I picked up because Whitney from Witty Novels would not stop talking about it, and I had to know what was so great and fell in love with it. The Under the Never Sky series by Veronica Rossi is a series that I first heard about from Lainey of Gingery's Lainey, and she referred to it as crack cocaine, so I knew I had to get my hands on some, because that's apparently how crack cocaine works. All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr I first heard about on Reagan's channel from Peruse Project. And last but certainly not least is the Graceling trilogy by Kristin Kishore, which I heard about on Misty of the Book Rats channel. I will link all of these channels down below for you to check out if you don't already know about them, but Misty especially is a booktuber whose recommendations I have followed for a long time. She's one of the first booktubers I ever subscribed to, and I always wrote down recommendations that she had. We just have very similar reading styles, so probably at least 40 to 50% of my shelves are books that I picked up because I heard about them through Misty. Question number 6, Castaway. And you are a dirty, rotten liar if you still don't tear up when Wilson gets lost at sea. I'm thinking about it right now and I want to cry. Like, no, I can't watch that scene. I can't. Tears will be streaming down my face. It's not pretty. The only other Tom Hanks movie that also does that to me is Polar Express. I watched it over the holidays. Again, I always watch it over the holidays. It's always on like ABC Family, and that movie always makes me cry. At the beginning of the movie, when the little boy is running after the train, if you guys have seen it, it's not like a spoiler or whatever, but the little boy's running after the train. He's so cute. I'm like bawling. I cry through that whole movie basically. I'm a big giant baby. Anyway, Castaway. If you could only bring one book to a deserted island, what would it be? And for this, I gotta go with The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, still probably one of my all-time favorite books. I'm currently listening to this on audiobook, a reread for me because I read this sometime last year, and I still love it. It is so atmospheric, it is so wonderful. You can read this multiple times or re-listen to it multiple times and still not catch everything. It is wonderful. So this would keep me entertained for hopefully a couple of years on a deserted island. Question number 7, Cloud Atlas. What book did you have high expectations for that didn't quite meet them? Most recently that did happen with Red Queen, but I've already talked about that. I've also done a review on that, which I will link down below if you haven't seen it. But the one that I really remember the most is The Young Elites by Marie Lu. This was the first book that I ever read by Marie Lu. I was so excited when I heard about it. It sounded right up my alley. I think my expectations were like through the roof for this book, and I didn't end up enjoying it when I read it. I have a review, I will link it down below. I think I gave it about 2 stars at the time. Since then, I've kind of warmed up to the idea of it again. I might reread it and see if maybe I was just going into it way too biased, way too hyped up for it. But at the time, my expectations were so high, and it just really didn't meet them, and it was so disappointing. And the last question is supposed to be name your favorite Tom Hanks movie, and actually I cannot do that, but a few of my favorites were not mentioned, so I'm going to include them in some bonus questions. So, bonus question number 8 is Saving Private Ryan.
I think we should be able to hit him from grenade range.
Maybe I should go up the middle, sir.
The way you run, I don't think so.
Maybe I should go left, sir.
Maybe you should shut up.
And what is your favorite ensemble cast of characters? So over 3 or 4 characters, like a large cast of characters. And no surprise here, that is obviously going to be the Grisha trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. I've talked about this until my face wants to fall off, but I love it so much, and I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing about it, but I love it so much. So I will link my review and gush for it down below, but the cast of characters in here is so amazing, and I want to be friends with all of them, and I love them all so much, and I was so attached to every single one of them. Wonderful, wonderful ensemble cast. Question number 9 is The Green Mile. This is probably one of my favorite movies of all time in general. I absolutely adore it. And the question for this is your most hated villain. And that is not villain you love to hate and you kind of root for and you kind of understand. No, this is like the villain that you hate, because Percy in this movie is one of my most hated characters of all time. I see this actor in other movies and I still hate him. I still imagine him as the character Percy. I hate him. I'm thinking about him right now, how much I hate him. Such an awful character. This was actually a tie, but I already mentioned one of the other books in another question, so I'm going to go with Aaron from the Fallen Kingdom series. He is such a sniveling bootlicker, and I hate him so much. He's actually the character that is most similar to Percy from the Green Mile movie. Just that kind of just sniveling, awful, oh, you hurt him, that kind of character. I hate him. I hate him so much. Question number 10 is Turner and Hooch, and this is classic late 80s, early 90s goodness. This movie was always on like Disney Channel or something when I was younger. It is hysterical, but I probably wouldn't enjoy it as much as an adult. I'm really not sure. I haven't watched it lately, but basically it is about Tom Hanks and this pet dog named Hooch.
Why man will prevail and your kind will never dominate the earth. This is what you can do if you've got thumbs. Huh? Move around. Move around. I don't care. There you go. Oh, what a ferocious dog.
And it's just kind of around the same time that all of those dog movies were coming out, like Air Bud and like the St. Bernard one that I can't think of right now, and like dog movies. So basically, what is an animal from a book that stole the show? And for that, I'm gonna have to go with Mugga from the Abhorsen trilogy by Garth Nix. Mugga is a talking cat, and he is sassy and snarky and a pain in the butt, and he is so funny. He is one of my favorite characters of all time in general. Favorite animal character, favorite side character, favorite anything. He's amazing. He's an amazing character. And last but certainly not least, A League of Their Own.
Are you crying?
No.
Are you crying? Are you crying? There's no crying. There's no crying in baseball!
Why don't you leave her alone, Jimmy?
Oh, you zip it, Doris!
A League of Their Own holds a special place in my heart because it is about baseball and friendships and amazingness. There are so many wonderful ladies in that movie, and it is about the Rockford Peaches, which was a baseball team around the World War period when all the men were gone. They formed a baseball team of ladies, and the Rockford Peaches are from my hometown, Rockford, Illinois, so I kind of hold a special place in my heart for that movie. And this is also a personal favorite topic of mine, and that is favorite friendship between two ladies. And this was actually way harder to think of. I can think of a lot of really great female friendships within movies and TV shows, so there's not a ton within the books that I read. I plan on doing a discussion video about this in the future because it's actually very, very upsetting. So I had to actually go with Twilight by Stephenie Meyer and the friendship between Alice and Bella. I just remember loving that friendship. I really enjoyed the characters in Twilight actually a lot. I remember just feeling really nostalgic for those kinds of friendships, so I really enjoyed the Alice-Bella friendship. I just really liked Alice. I wanted to be friends with her. I thought she was really cute, and I just enjoyed their friendship. It's one of the last really strong female friendships I remember reading about in recent years, which is sad because this really wasn't that recently. This was like 8 years ago that I read this book. Yeah, we need some more lady friendships. Get on it, authors. Alright guys, that is it for the Tom Hanks tag. Comment down below, let me know how much you love Tom Hanks. But also comment down below and let me know if there are any books like from the You've Got Mail question that I have influenced you to read, because I'm always interested to kind of hear if people end up reading books and really enjoying them because I recommend them. It just is something that's kind of cool to me, so comment down below and let me know about that. Also, I'm going to tag a few people. I'm going to tag Sarah Jane from The Book Life. I don't know if you love Tom Hanks, but I do, so do it. I'm going to tag Kristin from Kappa89X. Again, I don't know if you love Tom Hanks, but I do, so do it. I'm going to tag Caitlin from Book Chats. Again, I don't know if you love Tom Hanks, but I do. I'm going to tag Kayla from Bookadoodles. I'm going to tag Lainey from Gingery's Lainey. I'm going to tag Kenya from My Little Bookshelf. Basically, anybody that likes Tom Hanks, I think you should do this tag. I just love Tom Hanks and talking about Tom Hanks. It's a little ridiculous. I should be done. Alright, thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye!